Welcome back to another Phill-osophy Arc episode. In this episode, I'm covering living with past and emotional trauma, current or otherwise. It is a very important topic for all of us, folks. There's going to be times where you have to survive stuff, live through things, experience things, have done things to ourselves and others. We have to live with these consequences, these experiences, these emotions. They will follow us forever. And as one very smart and wise person once said, and I learned this well, the body keeps the score. It doesn't forget. For better or worse, Let's take a jump into my past to learn from my mistakes and victories. These two bracelets, made in around 1950 something for my mother and her sisters by my grandfather. They are stainless steel and they are stamped with some kind of triangle stamp. The three sides of life for me. I have a business logo and it is 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. Concept, creation, polishing. The same can be said for life. These bracelets I've had for 11 years. They involve the worst parts of my life, the absolute rock bottom parts of my life. They involve the hardship of my life, all the struggles throughout the time of my worst moments in life. They are the embodiment of the absolute worst pieces of my life. And all those memories of suffering, agony, loss of path, direction, hope, everything you can think of. I stored them right in here and I carry them every single day. Mwah. Because it's not about forgetting the past, folks. It's about coming to terms with it. And it's about forgiving it. And it's about looking at those mistakes and moments and the things that we've survived and lived through. The absolute soul-crushing despair and the agony, Every time I had a day where I think it was going to be the worst day ever, I'd have a little ritual where I'd store those memories in here, those moments. And that was stage 1 of healing and coming to terms with this stuff, Because sometimes life is not easy or ever easy. And all we can do is look back later and crack a joke about it and be like, phew, I'm glad I survived those death days, But yet I still, with pride, carry all that massive amounts of horrible trauma baggage around with me. And I'm still smiling and laughing every day. And my secret is, when I practice these little rituals and stored all these horrible, negative, heartbreaking, emotional moments into these bands, I came to terms with them. I sat those demons down at the dinner table in a way. I poured them a cup of tea or coffee. If they wanted 1 sugar or 2, I'd do that as well. And I had conversations with those demons, those problems and those moments in me. And I hashed it out over conversation with diplomacy. Because for quite a many years, about 7, I used alcohol, a lot of it. And all it got me at the end was probably damage to my liver. Still felt depressed and wanting to give up. And a lot of lost, wasted money. And a lot of lost and wasted time. At the point that I moved away from the big city, I did thus vow to drink a lot less, and I have. And in this year I've drunken a lot less again. It was something I need to do to be a better human, family member, brother and son, and businessman. And otherwise an ally to the world and the universe, I couldn't keep distracting myself anymore. Because we can't wash away pain, we can only accept it and embrace it into ourselves and make it a part of ourselves. To own the word or the thing or the concept, to make it so much our own that no one can take it from us, no one can shame us for it, no one can bring that up to cut us deep again. Everyone's got their own bullet wounds, you know. Sometimes the lead's still in us. Deep, deep down. The stage 2 of biohacking the brain will be coming up at about episode 86, maybe earlier. But that also involves part 2 of what these represent for me. Because eventually, 11 years ago, I started having good days. I might smile once a week, or every 2 weeks I might laugh at something and find myself laughing, you know, and smiling and having a good time. And I thought, you know what? I'm storing that too. Right in there. And week and month and day and year after year, there was more good moments than bad eventually. And so I started storing them all in here. This was the original one. I've had this for 11 years now. I only take it off for airport security and to lay on the coffins of those I love and care about when I have to say goodbye one final time. Now, number 2, I started wearing this when I moved out of home 6 years ago and out of the city. This one in particular is very special because this holds all my glory and good journeys and my journey as a businessman and an individual and a free autonomous human responsible to only one but myself and controlled by no one but myself. Freedom and autonomy and the right to live my own life has been one of the biggest parts of my journey out here over the last 6 years, and I cherish it deeply. One day I'll meet someone I love deeply than anything else in the life, and I will present them with this bracelet of my Mount Beauty journey that has the best parts of me in it. And until such time, I will continue to store good memories and bad within it, of failures and victories, of hard-won achievements, of absolute crushing defeats, both in my business and personal life out here. The crushing defeats and failures, though, are less and less as time goes on, to be honest, which is a sign that I am heading in the right compass direction, you know, to my true north, not cardinal north. True north is in the heart, cardinal north is in the magnetism of the earth. So remember, folks, whoever increases the right direction of your true north in your heart, keep hanging out with them, or hang out with them more. Because for the people who inspire the right north in our psyches and minds and souls and hearts, you know, keep spending time with them. And the people who lead us away to our wrong compass heading, well, maybe it's time to lessen the contact or let them go or say goodbye. Trauma and hardship isn't something we need to shove in a box and deny its existence, or to bury in a hole, or to take out the back behind the barn and shoot it in the head, you know. Trauma is about coming to terms with what and who we are and what and who we've become and what we've done and what has happened to us. It's about coming to terms with our demons, giving them a big hug and accepting them for who they are. But then also tucking them into bed and sending him to the realm of sleep, to giving him the final good night. And as someone, a good person in my life out here said, sometimes that box or that coffin still rattles. It's always going to be there, folks. The hardship and the victories are always going to live on within us because the body keeps the score. The hardships of life, even blended with the victories and achievements, it's not always easy. It's not always just. It's not always good. It's not always positive. It's not always flowers and puppies. There will be times where we have to do things that we don't want to have conversations with the client, or to talk to both managers and the boss and say, hey, I need to have a chat with all of you in the office. Something has arisen. To renegotiate a client contract. To tell old clients, well, look, my prices are going up. That's the world. That's how it is. To say, look, I'm going to cost a bit more this year, and if you're not cool with that, I'm going to have to walk. It's been a good journey, but adioso, amigo. Sometimes we'll have to call up and order a pizza by ourselves without mum and dad being there, you know. Other times we'll have to pay our taxes. Sometimes we'll have to have hard conversations with people who we thought were friends and say goodbye. or to pull someone in line when they get way out of line, you know. Sometimes we'll have to have those father to son conversations or those mother to daughter conversations. We're going to have some hard words. We're going to have to sit people down and give them a hug and pour them a pot of tea, you know, and go, look, we have to have a chat about this. What is happening is not all right, and it hasn't been for a long time, and, you know, we need a change. And sometimes we have to have those conversations with ourselves that if, say, a father was never there for us, or he beat us on the weekends, or he was never a good person and he never inspired anything nice in us, to say, hey, my dad gave me life, but he didn't give me the best life. And maybe I have to let go of that and tell him goodbye, that I'm cutting him off until I can heal, until I can build myself back up from the charred remains of the foundations of this burnt down home that is my body and psyche and mind and innerness, you know. And maybe, hey, at a future point where I'm rebuilt and I've got a nice life that is like a building, a foundation, a Jenga tower that is strong and immovable, not even wind or fire can knock it over, you know, maybe I will reach out to Dad again, say, and reach out an olive branch and say, Dad, have you changed? Have you grown? Sometimes those kind of conversations are the ones we will eventually have to have, because a graze can get infected and turn into a massive gangrenous lump oozing with pus and have to be cut off. But we shouldn't have to cut off our limbs if we can avoid such trauma, medical or otherwise, by rectifying and remedying the situation, which is the quicker we do something about something, the better it heals and the less scar tissue left behind on the flesh, on the skin, in the brain, in the heart and soul, you know. Scar tissue lasts forever, but a little scratch on the skin, well, that can be fixed in minutes with a simple phone call or a conversation, you know. The body always keeps the score, and the longer we let these things in our life fester, the harder it is to face them. We can't cure bullet wounds with band-aids, folks, but we can talk about it, and we can acknowledge it for what it is, and we can admit it exists. And if we're not the people who we want to be friends with now, if we can't walk in the door one day and look in the mirror and go, I love that, I want to be friends with that, I want to be married to that flesh and that brain and that soul and that heart, you know. If we can't admit yes to that, then I guess that we need to grow and become better people. If only for ourselves even. Because 6 years ago I moved out here and I thought, you know what, Mum and Dad, I promise you two things. I will do everything I can to the best of my ability to promise that I will not end up in jail or a bunch of plastic flowers and a cross on the side of the road. And to myself I promised that I will not lie, cheat or steal to the best of my ability. Because I want to be a businessman, I want to be a man, I want to be a good human being that makes the world a better place instead of drags it down and burns it from the inside, you know. And that I wanted to be a bigger and better human than I was. I wasn't Dr. Mengele or any of those dictators from the past, you know. I wasn't Genghis Khan or anything, but I was not a good human being to myself. I was not living my best life. I was having fun, I was distracted, and I was not treating myself well. But I came to terms with it, and every day I continue to face it head on with a smile and a strong spine and a steadfast will to achieve everything with 90% accuracy that I set out to do. And I will never give up on that dream, ever. So, if this series connected with you or got you nodding along or going, what, damn, that's the puzzle piece I'm looking for, folks. Maybe think upon these things, ponder on them, get thinking over the next few days and weeks, and you will find your answers, folks. It's not an easy journey, it's quite a tough one. It's taken me 6 years to become the person who I envisioned myself being, to now look up from my past to my current self and go, that is my hero. I am my hero now. And this is my past, and look where I climbed from. To sit on the peak and continue to find new and higher peaks and sit on them and have a little rest, and to look down and go, look where I came from down in the valley, you know. And I tap into all the good memories that I have in here, even the negative ones, because I've survived a lot. And these memories are about, these bands are about survival. These are my armory. And I've already gotten through so much. And because of that, I can keep getting through more. Because I have everything I learned along the way on this journey of life. I have this whole toolbox of things that I learned to survive to get to here. And if I can do that, I can keep going further. In a way, in summary, I'd say, these are my Viking armories. And they are everything. They are the holy tool of my religion. My religion being, the universe is God. And my friends and family are the religion. Now, this is Phill-osophy Arc. Catch you later.
Hey, Future Racer here. If you're finding the Phill-osophy Arc series inspirational, educational, entertaining, humorous, or it's giving you a little smile, think about liking and subscribing. If you have a family member, loved one, or friend who you think could equally benefit from this series, think about sharing it with them.